Welcome back to G.A.M.E.R. I'm your host, G.A.M.E.R here, and today, welcome to 2024. It is finally the new year, which means so much is going to be happening on the channel this year. I'm so excited to get things going. Real quick, if you guys do not follow my Instagram account, G.A.M.E.R, of course, go check that out because I did went ahead and post a roadmap, a 2024 roadmap, like kind of organizer on the account, just to kind of clarify what's all happening throughout the year, all the different types of videos we're going to be doing, all the different series, and yeah, there really is a lot there, and if you want to see what to expect from the channel, that might be a really good way to do that. But nonetheless, this is 2024, and yeah, not only are we going to keep on rolling with how we've been, but we're going to get a lot more consistent, and we're going to add more new things. But that being said, let's go ahead and let's not waste any more time talking about the channel. Let's talk about what you probably clicked on this video for, and that is another review on a game that I just finished. Like, actually, I didn't just finish. It was like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. But I've come back to it a couple times, played it a little more, did a couple side quests to really like get my final feelings on the game. And I think I have enough now that I am perfectly okay doing this review. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora by Ubisoft, Massive Entertainment. And you know, this is cool because Avatar is a franchise that is polarizing, to say the least. There is, I would say, 50% of people do not like Avatar. They think it's stupid and they don't understand how it earned that much money, and they just don't get the franchise. And then there's 50% people who think it's cool and like it, and like actually love the world and some of the characters. And what's interesting with me, right, is I thought the first movie was okay. I thought the second half of the first movie was pretty solid, but the first half was not all that great, in my opinion. I kind of just thought the first one was okay. I was along the boat of I didn't understand why it became as successful as it is. But then the second movie, Way of the Water, came out, and I absolutely fell in love with it. That movie made it all click. It made me realize, like, it made me understand the world. It made me understand its characters. It made me understand the depth behind the franchise. And that being said, I don't think it makes the first movie good, but it definitely makes me appreciate the first one more, because the first one was truly a setting up for what the franchise is to come. And I really fell in love with the world. I really fell in love with Pandora after that second movie. And I mean, I've gone back to Disney World since, and I've just enjoyed the Avatar section way more. And you know, this game was announced, I think, like 2021 during the Ubisoft E3 presentation. And I remember being really excited because I was like, you know, I thought the first movie was okay, but I can see how this is going to be a really cool experience. Now, this was before the second movie. Then, once the second movie came out and I loved it, I realized I'm actually super excited for this game. And, well, the game has now come out, and it was one of my most anticipated games of the year. I'm gonna just go ahead and say, just because of how much I love the second movie and how much I've kind of been on, like, this Avatar, like, hype train for a couple, like, months now, I can thoroughly say, after playing about 40, maybe even 50 hours of the game, low-key, I think it's a pretty great game. Now, there are big flaws within it, and there are things that I did not like, and actually things that kind of annoyed me. But there are things that I think it does some of the best of the year, maybe even the generation so far, maybe of all time. And I think the game gets a little too much hate because I think a lot of people look at it at face value and think, oh, it's Far Cry with Avatar. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was gonna be that before the game came out. I thought it was gonna be that. Nonetheless, I was still excited. I thought it was literally just gonna be Avatar, Far Cry, and it's more than that. And low-key, it's better than Far Cry. I'm gonna go ahead and say I think this is the best Ubisoft game they've put out since I don't even know. I can't even think. I'm Assassin's Creed Valhalla. That's probably it's probably the best Ubisoft game since Valhalla. That's what I'll say. Unless I'm missing a Ubisoft game hard, but I think that's probably the best game to come out. Yeah, but nonetheless, I really enjoyed my time with Avatar. Now we're gonna go and dissect a few things here. A couple things I want to get off my chest. Number one, the best part about this game, the absolute best part about this game, hands down, there is no competition. I don't understand how you cannot think this is the best part of the game, and it is the visuals. The visuals are legitimately peak visuals in a video game. They could not have made it any better. They could not have made it any better. I personally, after playing it for like 50 hours and after like having multiple weeks to just soak it all in, I can thoroughly say it is the best visuals of the year, maybe even the best visuals of the generation so far. Now, I don't think it's the most next-gen thing of the generation, right? But I think in terms of color, in terms of art direction, in terms of lighting, in terms of, like, just the atmosphere and the amount of detail in the world, it is insane what this game was able to accomplish technically and visually. It is out of this world. Like, I remember the opening when you finally leave that facility for the first time and you see Pandora for the first time. It is truly breathtaking, and it truly just had so many moments throughout the entire game where I was like, what in the world am I looking at? Because it is just brilliantly beautiful. It is, I really can't, there are no words to describe how good the visuals are. You really just have to play it for yourself, and you will be sucked into the game just through the visuals. Not only the environments, but the people look just like the movies, which is crazy. Maybe not like, you know, photorealistic, but like they're captured really, really well. I mean, truly, it is just a phenomenal looking game. But that's not the only thing that's good about the game. I actually found the game quite fun. Like in terms of the combat and in terms of like just playing, I actually enjoyed myself quite a bit. Now there were like a couple of things I wasn't a huge fan of in terms of the gameplay, but I'm gonna go ahead and say one of the biggest complaints about the game, from what I've heard from people, is that they don't enjoy the exploration, or they think the guiding or the waypoints is stupid or it's really hard. I'm not like saying anybody's wrong. Like, I genuinely don't understand it. Like, I'm not saying I think their opinion's wrong. Like, I don't know if I missed something, or I don't know if I was like on an easier difficulty or something. I did not have a problem finding my way at all. Like granted, it's not like the easiest like guiding system, but I never got like lost or like struggled to find a location once. So I really, like, I'm not even trying to like argue with any others. I genuinely am curious. So if anybody had that like complaint about the game, please tell me like exactly what you're talking about, because I really don't understand that complaint whatsoever. But if that is one of your complaints, please let me know. I would love to hear it. And I'm sorry you felt that way. I really do. Yeah, for me that wasn't really an issue. So that's not something that really dragged it down a lot. But yeah, back to the gameplay. I thought the like skill trees and stuff were, I mean, they were like average. I wasn't a huge fan of like the go to the big flowers and like go to AWA or something like that. and like you unlock something in like a bigger skill tree or like a smaller skill tree technically. I didn't think that was all that interesting. I really didn't even do those many because I don't know. It was kind of just weird. Like you had to do like weird parkour things to get to them, and I was like, I don't know. I'm not really feeling that. I wish it was just more like experience things. Like I wish you unlocked it like once every like 2 levels or something like that. But hey, that's just kind of my opinion about that. But yeah. So like I said, visuals is great. I thought the gameplay was fun. I thought the shooting and the amount of different weapons was pretty good. I think a lot of the character designs were done really well. A lot of the weapon designs actually were pretty neat. The shooting is actually very satisfying. I will say that. If you are a first-person fan, it is a very satisfying first-person combat. It's not super flashy. It's not super complex. It's not like a super in-depth gameplay system. It is just super like, I don't know if I've ever felt more satisfying shooting a bow and arrow. Like, it is a very, very satisfying bow and arrow gameplay. Yeah, I don't know. I really just enjoyed myself. Now, like I just said, it's not super in-depth. It's not super complex. So if that's something you're looking for, you might not be satisfied with what the game has to offer, but for me, I did enjoy myself quite a bit with it. And then the other big plus that I can give this game is I think the music is pretty good. I mean, it's just Avatar music, but it really does help the immersion, and it really helps some of the great moments. And yeah, I don't know. It really just worked really well. It really fit in, and it really enhanced the experience. So I definitely want to go ahead and give a little shout out and a big plus, some points for the music the game had to offer. It was pretty spectacular. Although Avatar music is kind of just always great. So yeah. But let's go ahead and talk about some of the critiques that I have, because I do have quite a bit. While I did enjoy my time with the game, and while I think there were a lot of great moments and a lot of great aspects about the game, I think it is a pretty flawed game. While it's enjoyable, it's super flawed, but a lot of flawed things can still be enjoyed. I mean, we do it all the time throughout every year. There are always flawed things that you can still enjoy to a great extent, which is what I feel with this game. Let's just go and start off with the big one. You probably haven't heard me mention it once this game, or once this review, because it is the worst part of the game, and that is the story. The story is pretty useless. It's almost non-existent. It really does feel, especially since this is a licensed IP game, the story feels like it's just an excuse to get this licensed IP. There's no true connect. There's like one line at the beginning which mentions the main character from the movies, Jake Sully, that connects it to the movies. But other than that, I didn't catch anything that connected it to the movies. There wasn't any like huge character moments that I was like, this character is amazing in this game. Didn't have any of that. There were a lot of moments where it was super anticlimactic, where I was like, okay, I'm ready. Really? That's it? Like, it was really, it was very dull. It was very dull, and it was very weak. And I was really disappointed with that, just because of how much I loved the story of the second movie. I thought the story of the second movie was really, really great. That being said, I do still like the world building they have in this game. I think the world building is done really well, which is kind of the thing I wanted most in terms of the story, is the world building, because, I mean, it is Frontiers of Pandora, the whole Avatar franchise is based around the world of Pandora, and so I wanted them to get that right, and I think they did. But my goodness, the main quest felt so, oh my gosh, it felt like it dragged. It felt like there were so many fillers. It felt like a lot of them were anticlimactic. A lot of them did not do anything for me. It was very disappointing, the story. Now, that being said, there were like three missions, maybe 3 missions where I was like, now this is a great mission. This is a great story beat. This is what I wanted. One of them being when you get your Ecron for the first time. I think the mission was called Take Flight or something like that. When you get your flying creature for the first time. That was a phenomenal mission. That is like, yes, this is what the entire game should be like, is like using the world and using its environments and creatures to further a story of your character. I really love that. I really, really love that. Another one is, I don't remember the name of the mission, but it was more towards like the third act, where you are trying to join forces with the G.A.M.E.R clan, or the ones that were like in the clouded forest, and basically they found out that like there was like a plot twist, and the guy took like a risk and like drank a potion that was supposed to be poison, but he drank it to prove that it wasn't poison. Sorry if I'm spoiling it for you, but yeah, I really like that one as well, because that was a nice story beat. It involved some characters that kind of did them nicely, but overall there were not a lot of those moments, and the few that were there weren't like amazing to the point where it like helped bring back a lot of positives. And the next big complaint I have with the game is I don't like the progression whatsoever. You don't level up through XP or completing quests or anything. You level up through the power of your gear. That is how you level up. And there is huge difficulty spikes within the game. The game is actually fairly difficult. I got kind of annoyed at a lot of times because I just kept on getting one-shotted and two-shotted. I was like, what is going on? And it's because you need good gear. And if you do not continuously get good gear, which means continuously do side quests and get clan favors, then you cannot get those good gear, and you will suffer in those quests. And the difficulty is not something I wanted out of an Avatar game. Like, I love Souls games. I love roguelites. All right, there is a lot of difficult games I love. Difficulty is not a problem. But when it comes to an Avatar game about exploration and just beautiful worlds, I am not trying to get one shot by every enemy I find, okay? That's just not how I want it to be, and I found that really annoying. That being said, I also don't like just... There was nothing to really the gear system. You kind of just find a bow, boom, equip. You can like attach 1 or 2 mods, but it wasn't all that interesting, and all the weapons kind of did the exact same thing, and there's only like 1-2 different types of ammunition for the bow, or for each weapon really, and I feel like they could have just done a little more, especially if they added melee combat. I wish they would have had melee combat, because I think that would have been really cool. They have like a punch and a kick, but like, come on now. But yeah, outside the story and outside of some of the progression systems, and outside of a lot of side quests and just main quests feeling kind of useless, I did enjoy my time with the game. Like, I really did. It's one of those games where once you finish it, you are very happy that you played it once. And I don't know if I would ever come back to it, just because I have gone back to it since completing the main story a couple times to like just explore, fly around, do some fun things, maybe do a couple side quests, and yeah, it just, I don't know, I wasn't really feeling it afterwards, and it's because what you are getting out of this game is a visual masterpiece. It is a licensed IP brought to life, and it is a experience that only this IP can give. And once you've had that experience, the magic's kind of gone, and that's kind of how I felt with the majority of this game, pretty much all of it. But that being said, through my playthrough, I did enjoy myself. I did have fun. There were a lot of moments got me very excited, and a lot of moments that I loved. But at the end of the day, this is a very flawed game, and one that a lot of people looking for great progression, great story, like some of the best gameplay, addictingness, you're not really going to find. But it is still an amazing experience, especially your first time. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to clock this game in. See, I have like 3 different numbers I could give it. But I think I'm going to go ahead and clock it in at a 7.5 out of 10. I think it, again, it's super fun, it's super cool, but it's super flawed and super annoying at a lot of times. So I'm going to go with 7.5 out of 10. But yeah, if you guys have played the game, let me know. What do you guys think? I would love to know. And honestly, while you're at it, let me know what you think of the movies, because I'm also kind of curious about that. Just as a lover of the movies now, let me know. But if there's ever a sequel to this game, I'll be excited. But yeah, DLC is not really gonna do it for me, unfortunately, unless it's like Way of the Water DLC. That might get me. That might get me. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching the first review of 2024. Yeah, can't wait to do more videos and see you guys in the future. Like I said, we're gonna be consistent as all ever. I'm looking at least 5 videos every single week. 52 weeks, we're gonna do it. We are gonna do it. I'm committing. I'm going part-time to college this next semester. Maybe even the next 2 semesters. So I might be going to part-time school all year, so it's gonna give me a lot more time to do this. I have a friend that's gonna be joining me with a lot of series, a lot to look forward to. But thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. G.A.M.E.R out. Peace.